A big thank you to Jero for giving me a year's worth of subscriptions on Patreon. My hero. Judith Carnage Connoisseur versus Voja, Gix, and Zarek. One lander, we do have a Dark Ritual, but yeah, it's still too risky. We will mulligan. Alright, into the Dark Ritual again. We've got both of our colours. Night's Whisper. There. It's risky. We'll just have to hope that we draw into some more colours with the Night's Whisper, I think. Turn 1 Mana Vault from Gix. Okay, get into more card draw in the form of Cathartic Pyre, so yeah, I'll go after the Night's Whisper first. We're going to be dealt a lot of pain this game, but hopefully we can get our commander into play and do some lifelink damage. Zarek going for a Sol Ring into a Wayfarer's Bauble, and Gix taps down the Mana Vault for a Mind Stone into Felwar Stone, and we'll be able to get down the commander here. Oh, and this player has scooped because of course. So yeah, another ban. And not going for the commander, it is Midnight Reaper instead. Okay, Brotherhood's End would be funny with all those rocks in play. Yeah, that would be really funny actually. Let's go. Need another red source really, so let's go Night's Whisper. Alright, and there's a Graven Cairns, that's good. So yeah, we're going to have to discard a card here, unfortunately. I don't think we could have done anything with the Dark Ritual anyway, because we've got a whole fistful of red in hand. So we'll just get rid of the Browbeat. Noteworthy, this is an artifact land as well, so yeah, if we go for Brotherhood's End, destroying all the artifacts, he's actually just going to be left with a swamp. Cracking the Wayfarer's Bauble now is good, so we'll have 2 swamps. Mask of Memory is going to go down as well, 4 cards left in hand. Argument to be made against a black artifacts player for holding on to this, but our opponents are going to get too far ahead of us if we're not careful. Even more than they already have. Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx, can't see too much devotion to black at the moment. Seen a lot of artifacts coming into play. Is he going to get his commander down here? You have to assume he will. Yep, there it is, so we'll be able to swing in with the Reaper and draw a card. We'll leave him at 3 cards in hand. See who he attacks. Attacks in at the left. Alright, and a Reflecting Pool, so does going with the Dark Ritual do anything here? I don't think it does. Yeah, we'll just drop the Reflecting Pool here and go straight for the Brotherhood's End, destroying all artifacts with mana value 3 or less. And then we'll have to take the wrath of the black player in the red zone. So a creature went down there, meaning the Midnight Reaper draws our opponent a card, goes up to 4, and the other player goes down to 2 swamps in play, which is obviously way less mana than he would like. A Skorpek Lord is Menace. Other artifact creatures you control have Menace and +1 to their power. I'm hoping next turn we'll be able to go for our commander into End the Festivities and really put our opponents on the back foot compared to where they were previously. So yeah, getting these 6 damage dealt to us, 1 so that they don't lose a creature, and 2 as punishment for what we just did to his board. So allowing our opponent some card draw, unfortunately. We'll take him back up to 7 in hand. If he plays another creature here, I won't be against it. It's turn 4 and we're already down to nearly half of our life total. Jet Medallion going to make the black spells cost less. Think about Coffers as well, our opponent's getting into some good stuff here. Only has 2 swamps though, but against a couple of black players there's every chance he'll see an Urborg. A Bitter Blossom is a means of consistent flyers that can go in with the Gix. Now then, the mana's still a bit clunky for us. There's a swamp. I think we want to cycle some Dark Ritual mana, so we'll go with the Graven Cairns, play the Dark Ritual, make some red mana with the Dark Ritual mana, and then tapping down the Ancient Tomb we will use all but a single red mana and get down at the Judith, and then it can be End the Festivities, 1 damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalker they control, and that will put Judith on the stack, so Death Touch and Lifelink please. And hopefully we're punishing our opponents for their really fast starts here. So a couple of non-token creatures go down there. The Midnight Reaper is going to draw, and yeah, we get that player to scoop because he's been set back way too much at this point. But Gix is still sat there with 6 cards in hand, so can definitely pull out from underneath this. But we've got an Abrade with Gix's name on it. Bitter Blossom triggering for the first time. We go back up to 29 with that and the Festivities. And we've hardly dealt any damage yet. Alright, that is a Warm Power Stone. Also got down a Polluted Mire, so that enters tapped. It's a cycle land. 5 cards in our opponent's hand. Alright, and a Marsh Flats, so I think we can discard up to 2 cards and draw that many. It's not the best means of card advantage, but obviously it's got burn written on it as well. I think we definitely want down the Harmonic Prodigy. So we'll go for a duel with the Marsh Flats and get down the Prodigy. And then swing in with Judith. And I think our opponent's going to want to get down his Gix next turn, so we can hold up the Abrade for that. Blocking with the Fairy token suggests that maybe he doesn't then. Maybe he doesn't want to get down Gix, so do we just hurt his mana now? And go for Abrade onto this? I think I will do that actually. So Judith's going to trigger twice. There's no point giving lifelink and death touch to that because it's not dealing any damage, so we'll make a couple of imps. Get to make 2 of those because Judith triggers twice thanks to the Prodigy that we just played. And we're doing this now because we don't want our opponent to untap with that additional mana that we're assuming he's looking to make use of next turn. Problem is we are fast running out of cards here. Might have to discard whatever we draw into to the Cathartic Pyre next turn. Alright, it is a Massacre Girl, so we were always going to lose out on our creatures here, I think. Fairy Rogue goes down, gets rid of the Imp tokens, then they will get rid of the Harmonic Prodigy, I think. Anyway, we deal 4 damage to each opponent with the Imps, so not totally useless. Yeah, wipes the entire board. So Judith back into the command zone. With a land next turn, we'll be able to afford to recast her. Alright, a Shatter Skull Smashing will be able to remove some stuff, so yeah, Cathartic Pyre is just going to be a burn spell for us, I think, and we just await something like Necropotence or some kind of wheel. So challenge our opponent to remove the Judith again. Massacre Girl hits us for 4, we're not going to block that with our 3 power. The Bloodghast is going to be consistent sack fodder. Can't block, so we're not too worried about it for now. Does give them additional devotion as well, so they've got devotion of 5 at the minute. Carrionet. Exile Carrionet and target creature unless that creature's controller pays 2. So when they've got the additional mana, they'll want to get rid of Judith with that. There is Yawgmoth as well, definitely worth pointing a Shatter Skull Smashing at. Deciding to put a minus counter on Judith by sacrificing the Bloodghast, that also draws them a card of course. Doing it again with the Carrionet going down, so maybe they're going to lose their entire board here. Yeah, they've just got way more card draw than us is the problem. So they're going to get out from underneath us. Everflowing Chalice has been kicked once, so just comes in with a single charge counter on it. They're going to wait for us to go for some kind of burn. We could go Shatter Skull Smashing first if they're going to allow it, and then Cathartic Pyre in response onto the Yawgmoth. I think that's what we'll aim for here. A Raucous Theatre is Surveil. So we can just put 2 into X on this so that we don't have to tap down the Mana Confluence. And then respond at instant speed with the Cathartic Pyre. Target both of my opponent's creatures for 1. And we will give Death Touch and Lifelink to force the issue. So they're going to sacrifice the Massacre Girl in response here. Either way, we're getting rid of both of their creatures. It's noteworthy that Judith is a human, and Yawgmoth has protection from humans, which I don't think often comes up, but it is relevant here. See if they allow this. I don't think they will. They're going to lose the creatures anyway. They might as well get rid of Judith, but yeah, they're happy to allow her to stay in play with no toughness, or no power even. So get down the land, and we'll surveil, see what's on top, and see if we want to keep it or not. Maybe our opponent has Mass Reanimation, and that's why he's not that bothered. Thran Dynamo I don't think does anything for us. So we're just holding up our Slow Lightning Bolt at the moment. Or actually, I'm thinking about it wrong, aren't I? Once we put something on the stack, it has Death Touch and Lifelink whether this is in play or not. Yeah, so yeah, I'm thinking about that wrong, the way our opponent allowed those creatures to go down. They were going down regardless. Anyway, see what they've got in store now. I'm tapping all the mana, 5 cards in hand. And there we go, a Breach the Multiverse, so they can just choose a creature card in each graveyard. Doesn't matter what they mill here necessarily. Milled a bunch of stuff that doesn't necessarily matter to us at this point. We just need a big bomb on the top, something like a Breach the Multiverse. So I went after the Yawgmoth again, and there is a Harmonic Prodigy. So minus counter goes on there. We will go for the Lightning Bolt then. Yawgmoth going down to the Judith with Death Touch and Lifelink. And they do get to keep hold of our Harmonic Prodigy. The Judith still goes down and they still draw a card. If we had a means of sacrificing Judith there, then it would be an intelligent thing to do because it would counter the card draw. A Pilfering Imp with 4 cards left in hand. Let's see what we can draw into. Just a land for us, so can we afford to recast the commander? Well, thanks to that land we can. But we are definitely in top deck mode here, and our opponent will want to get down his commander and start swinging in with flyers, I imagine. Especially when he knows that we can't necessarily do anything about it. Grey Merchant of Asphodel, gonna gain our opponent some life. Oh, and you exile this from the graveyard. Activate only if it's in your graveyard. Okay, so down goes the commander again. It's not like we're going to do anything this game anyway. Maybe we can get into a wheel or something here. We'll play it out for a few turns and our opponent should be able to finish us off quite quickly. Now, don't draw into Command the Dreadhorde, please, because we've just had our commander go down. That is more mana in Wayfarer's Bauble. Might as well play and crack it. So Gix finally coming back into play, and our opponent's going to be able to refill his hand here, although he's got 5 cards in hand already. Hasn't really lost any cards in hand all game. So swinging in with everything, that is 3, 4, 5 damage, taking us to 9. And we do have some pain lands in play. So 4 life put into this, you have to assume, in order to draw 4 cards. Dropping a Gaia Reach Sanitarium will bring back the Bloodghast. Funny thing is, our opponent's free to go for the Gaia Reach Sanitarium now because we've got no cards in hand, so we just draw and discard it straight away. And I bet it'd be a really good card if he did it as well. A Whip of Erebos, one of the, might still be the only means of giving all creatures lifelink in black. Surprisingly, there's very few means of doing that. And then Changeling Outcast is unblockable. Our opponent's really playing into a board wipe here. Not really much need for all this, I don't think. Alright, let's see what we get. Is it just going to be a land? Wow. Yep. Needed our commander in play for that. This is the problem with these types of commanders. You have to play thematically. I was just looking through the deck list out of curiosity actually. I mentioned Wheel of Fortune before. If we had Wheel of Fortune we might have a little bit more of a chance, but it's Wheel of Misfortune we have. And in order for that to be relevant we need our commander in play. So yeah, let's see what kind of fun we can have with Command the Dreadhorde. But yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, we could basically reanimate everything in every graveyard as long as we give this Death Touch and Lifelink, because it's one of those rare black cards that deals damage as opposed to losing life. So we would be dealt the damage and gain the damage at the same time in typical lifelink fashion. There is Massacre Girl. We could just do Massacre Girl, couldn't we? And then there's Vault Scourge as well, which is lifelink. Yeah, so we'll go at 5, 6 and 7 damage. And this will switch off our Ancient Tomb doing this, but it's fun nonetheless. Actually, does Massacre Girl hit our stuff as well? Oh, it's each creature other than Massacre Girl, so there's actually no point in putting the 2 damage into the Vault Scourge because it's going to go down here anyway. Oh well, just a matter of time before Gix gets out from underneath us here. So, bunch of stuff goes down to 1 toughness, which means Massacre Girl goes on the stack a myriad of times. And it is noteworthy that the Bloodghast is going to have haste now, another thing that doesn't come up very often. This card was first printed before Commander became really popular in the original Zendikar blocks, so it was more for the 20 life 60 card formats. So a Bloodghast could easily go wide on us, but Massacre Girl dealing with everything is a fun one, so we'll make our opponent earn it for another turn or 2. In fact, he could go Bloodghast and then, does this give haste? Yeah. So it's Whip of Erebos, reanimate something, play a land to get Bloodghast out, and our opponent goes wide on us, thanks to us taking that extra 2 damage we didn't need to take. But it depends on our opponent having a land and seeing that line of play. Playing a land for the Bloodghast. Cryptghast will extort us out of the game pretty quickly. Playing Gix. Still got the mana for the Whip of Erebos, but deciding to extort us there, so must have another small spell that he can cast. Alright, and he's now going for Whip of Erebos. He sees it now with the Grey Merchant of Asphodel. So doesn't even need to swing in, we can just get drained out by the Devotion to Black. And I think that was an interesting game. It was very interesting in the early turns anyway. You're not always necessarily rewarded for going really fast and getting all your Soul Rings and Mana Crypts down and all that really quickly. Unfortunately for us, we just couldn't get into a means of refilling our hand and keeping the commander in play. I mean, look how many turns it would have taken for us to get anywhere close to card draw. There's absolutely no card draw here whatsoever, so we were never doing anything. Black Market Connections is as close as we were getting, and that is very slow. Anyway, hopefully you all enjoyed this revisit to Judith. If you want to see more of it, then let me know in the comments. And I will see you all in the next one, I hope. I'm tribalkai. Thank you for watching.